So this is general kind of algebra question or more understanding what the question is saying. Let's see. Xena's car has a screen which shows the temperature in degrees Celsius correct to the nearest whole number. When Xena was going to work one day, the temperature on the screen was 18 Celsius. And we can see that here how it was showing 18 here. Now, what they are telling us about this screen is that the temperature is corrected to the nearest whole number. So what that means that when we are saying 18, the actual, if we consider a decimal, could be a different value here. So therefore, in the first part, we have to write down three possible values that the actual temperature could have been when Xena was going to work. So the idea here that is tested is, do you know how to round up the numbers? So let's look at that example. If I have 17.1, 17.5, 17.9, and then let's say 18.2, 18.7. So let's say we have this set of numbers. What are the rules about rounding it up or down? When the number I'm cutting off, so if I want to have the whole number without the decimal, so when we are cutting off the decimal, what we are considering is that value below 5, or is it above 5, above or equal? If it is below 5, we just cut it off, like here or here. And therefore, here the temperature is 17, here it will read 18. If it is 5 or above, like in this case, and here, therefore we have to add up 1 when we are cutting off that number. So in this case here, this value will become 18, this value will become 18, and this value will become 19. So when we are talking about three possible values, we have to understand that the lowest possible value we can have is what? 17.5, because then if we cut it off, it becomes 18. So that's the lowest possible value, because if we have 17.4, it's below 5, we cut it off, it's just 17. And then on the other end, when we are talking 18, so if it is 18.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, that's fine. In each of these cases will give me 18, but once we reach 18.5, we will have to add up 1 here and it will become 19. So when we are giving any number here, anyone we want has to run from 17.5 being the lowest to the highest 18.4. But we can put any number, 17.9, 18.0, 18.1, any number we want between those values. Okay, let's have a look at next part. Let T represent the actual temperature at a given time. So when they are putting something in bold, they are saying pay attention. So actual, we understand that it's showing 18, but it could be 17.5, or it's showing 18, but it could be 18.4. Fill in the missing values in the inequality in T below to show the range of possible values of T when Xena was going to work. So what are we doing? We fill in the missing values in inequality because it's saying that T is greater or equal. And here we have T has to be less. So that's the reason why it is inequality in T. And what does the T represent? Temperature, isn't it? So temperature has to be greater or equal or less. What? Below to show the range of possible values. The reason why they are saying range is because it's not just one value. It could be a lot of different values. So that's what we were analyzing earlier. So the lowest possible value is 17.5. Isn't it? Because 17.5, it could equal 17.5. It will give me 18. and the highest possible is 18.5 because t has to be less than that. Yeah, if it was an equal sign, then we put 18.4, but it has to be less than 18.5. So understanding those signs is as well important. Okay, and then the next part. If you were to graph the actual temperature over the course of the day, would it be more appropriate to graph T belong to N, T belong to Z, T belong to R? So we need to know what is N and Z and R. And I know sometimes when you're in exam, normally you could know, but sometimes in the exam, your mind can go blank. So what do? We go to our maths table, page 23, and here we have the set, the N, the Z, the Q, the R. And there is here help to us to understand what those sets are about. You can see that in N you have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they are whole numbers. There is no fraction. There are no negative values. When you are looking at Z, you can see again -3, -2, and then there are 3 dots in front and the back, meaning -3 is not the first number. And again, when you're observing it, you know whole numbers, positive, negative, 0, no fraction. And then when you are looking at R, nothing, no limitation, so all numbers. So that's what we are applying here. When we are looking at this answer, if it is only positive whole numbers, what about if the temperature is -1? Yeah. Now here, this one, it will include -1, it will include +18 like what we have here, but it's not very accurate, isn't it? Again, here we are talking about the actual, and actual will have the decimal. So R is the best option when we can express temperature with decimal, because then it is the actual temperature that we are considering here.